The control room of the Thron starship Resolute was a hive of activity, officers bustling between stations as data streamed in from the uncharted planet below. Captain Nathaniel Nate Mitchell stood at the center, his eyes scanning the information displayed on the translucent screens surrounding him. A sudden, persistent alert drew his attention. "Captain, we've picked up a distress signal from the surface," reported Lieutenant James O'Reilly, his fingers dancing over the console. The holographic display highlighted the source, deep within the dense jungle. Nate's brow furrowed. "Patch it through, Lieutenant." The signal, though garbled, carried a clear urgency. A mix of Thron language and an unfamiliar dialect played through the speakers. Dr. Julia Hartman, the ship's lead scientist, stepped forward, her eyes alight with curiosity. "That's definitely advanced technology," she observed. "It seems we've stumbled upon something significant." "Prepare the landing team," Nate ordered, his voice steady. "Dr. Hartman, you're with me. O'Reilly, you're piloting. Sergeant Davies, gear up." Sergeant Ryan Davies, a seasoned security officer, nodded and began organizing the necessary equipment. The team moved swiftly, each understanding the gravity of the mission. They boarded the sleek shuttle, its engines humming as it detached from the Resolute and descended towards the planet. The shuttle shuddered as it broke through the atmosphere, turbulent winds buffeting its sleek frame. "Steady, O'Reilly," Nate instructed, gripping his seat. "Just a bit of turbulence, sir." O'Reilly responded, his focus unwavering. The dense canopy of the jungle soon loomed beneath them, and with a deft touch, O'Reilly guided the shuttle to a clearing. The hatch hissed open, and the team stepped out, greeted by the humid, alien environment. Strange flora towered above them, and the air buzzed with the sounds of unfamiliar wildlife. Nate's eyes scanned the surroundings, taking in the vibrant, yet foreboding landscape. "Stay sharp," he advised. "We don't know what we're dealing with." Julia adjusted her scanner, the device beeping as it processed the myriad of signals around them. "This way," she indicated, leading the team deeper into the jungle. After a few minutes of navigating the thick underbrush, they stumbled upon their first major find: remnants of an ancient, yet advanced civilization. Structures blended seamlessly with the environment, their surfaces covered in alien script and intricate carvings. The technology, though dormant, exuded a sense of sophistication far beyond their own. "Remarkable," Julia breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "This technology is centuries, if not millennia, ahead of ours." As they explored further, a sudden rustling in the bushes put the team on high alert. Sergeant Davies raised his weapon, his stance protective. From the shadows emerged a group of drones, their sleek forms reflecting the dappled sunlight. The drones, initially inactive, sprang to life with a low hum, their sensors locking onto the intruders. "Defensive positions," Nate commanded, drawing his own weapon. The team moved with practiced precision, readying themselves for confrontation. The drones hesitated, as if assessing the threat. Nate's mind raced, weighing their options. Before he could issue another order, the drones retracted, retreating into the jungle. The team remained on edge, the encounter leaving a trail of unanswered questions. "What was that about?" Davies muttered, lowering his weapon slightly. "Reconnaissance, perhaps," Julia speculated. "But those designs, they bear a striking resemblance to Thron technology." Nate's expression hardened. "Could it be a rogue faction? We need answers." Julia knelt beside one of the abandoned drones, beginning her analysis. "This is definitely Thron tech, but modified significantly. Someone has been here before us." Nate's communicator crackled to life, interrupting their discussion. "Captain, you need to see this." O'Reilly's voice came through, urgent and tense. Following the coordinates, they soon arrived at a concealed entrance to an underground facility. The structure, though ancient, had been recently accessed. Nate's instincts told him this mission was far more complicated than a simple rescue. Inside, they found a control room, its interfaces glowing softly with dormant power. Julia moved to the central console, her fingers gliding over the controls. "There's an AI here. It's waking up." The holographic image of an entity flickered into existence, its form alien yet oddly familiar. "I am Zorith," it announced. "You have awakened me at a critical juncture." Nate stepped forward. "What is this place? Why is Thron technology here?" Zorith's image stabilized, its voice calm but grave. "This facility was established millennia ago to safeguard knowledge. But now, it must warn of an impending threat." The team exchanged uneasy glances. "What kind of threat?" Nate pressed. The AI's response sent a chill through the room. "An invasion is imminent. You must prepare." As the weight of the revelation settled in, the ground beneath them trembled. "Captain, we've got company," Davies warned, his eyes fixed on the entrance. Nate's heart pounded. "Form a defensive perimeter. We hold this position." The hidden facility buzzed with a latent energy as Nate, Julia, O'Reilly, and Davies ventured deeper into its depths. The walls were lined with intricate carvings, their meanings lost to time but still exuding an air of grandeur. Zorith, the enigmatic AI, hovered nearby, its holographic form casting a faint glow in the dimly lit corridor. "This place is incredible," Julia whispered, her eyes wide with fascination. "Imagine the knowledge stored here, the advancements they must have made." Nate nodded, his gaze fixed ahead. "We need to understand what happened here and why our technology is integrated into this ancient site." As they advanced, they came upon a large chamber filled with dormant machinery. Julia immediately set to work, her fingers dancing over the control panels. "These systems are sophisticated, far beyond our current capabilities. Whoever built this place was extraordinarily advanced." A sudden beep from her scanner drew everyone's attention. "I'm picking up a power source. It's faint, but it's there." Nate motioned for them to proceed with caution. They followed the signal to a smaller, concealed room. Inside, a large console hummed softly, its interface flickering to life as they approached. Zorith's holographic form brightened, indicating the significance of the discovery. "This is the core," Zorith explained. "It houses the central database of our civilization. The information here is crucial, but it also reveals a great danger." Julia glanced at Nate. "We need to access this. It could be the key to understanding the threat Zorith mentioned." O'Reilly, ever cautious, scanned the room. "Captain, I recommend we secure this area before proceeding. We don't know what else might be activated when we start interfacing with this system." Nate agreed. "Davies, set up a perimeter. Julia, see if you can get into that database. We need answers." As Julia worked, Nate took a moment to reflect on their mission. The discovery of Thron technology interwoven with this ancient civilization's remnants hinted at a deeper mystery. The implications were staggering. Someone from their world had either influenced or been influenced by this advanced culture. A series of clicks and whirs interrupted his thoughts. Julia had succeeded in accessing the database. Streams of data flowed across the console, and Zorith began translating. "This database contains records of our history and the impending threat. Our civilization flourished for millennia, advancing far beyond our current understanding. However, we encountered an enemy, a species intent on consuming and assimilating all other forms of life." Nate's jaw tightened. "And they're coming here?" "Yes," Zorith confirmed. "They were driven back before, but they will return. They have been gathering strength, and our defenses were designed to hold them off. You must prepare." O'Reilly's face darkened. "We need to warn Thron Command. They need to know what we're dealing with." Julia looked up from the console, her expression grave. "There's more. These invaders, they adapt rapidly. Traditional defenses won't hold them for long. We need to find a way to use this technology to develop new strategies." Davies, who had been silent until now, spoke up. "Captain, I suggest we explore more of this facility. There might be additional tech we can use." Nate nodded. "Agreed. But we need to be careful. We don't know how much time we have before they arrive." The team moved deeper into the facility, uncovering more rooms filled with sophisticated equipment and ancient records. Each discovery painted a clearer picture of the once great civilization and the formidable enemy they had faced. In one chamber, they found a series of pods, each containing what appeared to be suits of armor. Julia's eyes lit up as she examined them. These could provide significant protection and possibly enhance our capabilities. We should take a closer look. While Julia and Davies inspected the armor, O'Reilly and Nate studied a nearby console displaying strategic maps and battle plans. The ancient civilization had meticulously documented their encounters with the invaders, providing valuable insights into their tactics and weaknesses. These maps show potential weak points in their formations, O'Reilly observed. We could use this information to develop counter-strategies. Nate nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. This changes everything. We need to get this data back to Thron Command and start preparing our defenses. As they continued to gather information, Zorith provided guidance and context, its vast knowledge proving invaluable. The AI's presence, once an enigma, became a critical ally in their mission. Suddenly, a distant rumble echoed through the facility. The ground shook, and dust fell from the ceiling. Davies looked up, his expression serious. That didn't sound good. We might have company. Nate's communicator crackled to life. Captain, we've detected movement outside the facility. It's not our drones. We might be facing a reconnaissance team from the invaders. Everyone, gear up, Nate ordered. We need to defend this place at all costs. If they get their hands on this technology, it's over. The team quickly prepared for battle, their earlier discoveries now serving as their best chance of survival. As they took their positions, Nate couldn't help but feel a sense of determination. They had come too far to fail now. We stand our ground here, he declared, for Thron and for the future of our civilization. The sound of approaching footsteps grew louder, and the team readied themselves for the confrontation. The stakes had never been higher, but they were prepared to face whatever came their way. The facility's underground corridors reverberated with the sound of approaching footsteps. Nate, Julia, O'Reilly, and Davies took defensive positions, their weapons trained on the entry point. The faint glow from Zoritha's holographic form illuminated their determined faces. Hold steady, Nate instructed, his voice calm but commanding. The silhouettes at the entrance grew clearer, revealing humanoid figures clad in sleek, dark armor. These weren't drones, they were living beings. One of the figures stepped forward, removing their helmet to reveal a familiar face. Lieutenant Commander O'Reilly, what's the meaning of this? Nate demanded. The man grinned, his eyes cold. Captain Mitchell, always the hero. I'm here to secure this technology for our faction. Shock registered on Nate's face, quickly replaced by anger. You've betrayed us, O'Reilly. What could possibly justify this? O'Reilly's expression hardened. Survival. The Thron government is weak, incapable of using this technology to its full potential. My faction will ensure our people thrive. Nate's grip on his weapon tightened. You're endangering everyone by allying with those who threaten our existence. Julia stepped forward, her voice filled with disbelief. You're jeopardizing everything we've worked for, James. O'Reilly's gaze softened momentarily. Julia, you know this technology is our best chance. Join us. Together, we can reshape our future. Before she could respond, Nate intervened. Enough. Stand down, O'Reilly, or we'll have no choice but to take you in. O'Reilly's men raised their weapons. I was hoping you'd see reason, Captain, but it seems we're at an impasse. The room erupted into chaos as both sides exchanged fire. Davies moved with precision, covering Julia as she sought shelter behind a console. Nate focused on O'Reilly, determined to end the confrontation swiftly. Amidst the firefight, Zoritha's voice cut through the noise. Attention! Unauthorized access detected. Initiating lockdown. Steel barriers descended from the ceiling, sectioning off parts of the facility. O'Reilly's men were cut off, but so was Julia. Captain, we're separated, she called out, panic creeping into her voice. Nate's eyes darted to the barrier between them. Stay safe, Julia. We'll get through this. O'Reilly took advantage of the distraction, lunging at Nate. They grappled, each trying to gain the upper hand. "You're making a mistake, Nate," O'Reilly hissed. "This technology is the key to our future." Nate gritted his teeth. "Not at the cost of our integrity." With a surge of strength, Nate threw O'Reilly off balance, pinning him to the ground. "It's over, James." O'Reilly's defiant expression crumbled into resignation. "You don't understand, Nate. They're already here." Before Nate could question him, Zoratha's voice echoed again. "Alert! Hostile forces breaching the perimeter." The realization hit Nate like a blow. The invaders O'Reilly had mentioned were not a distant threat. They were already upon them. "Davies, secure O'Reilly and his men. We need to fortify our position," Nate ordered, his mind racing to formulate a plan. Julia, still separated by the barrier, worked frantically at the console, trying to override the lockdown. "Zorath, help me. We need to reunite the team." The AI's form materialized next to her. "Accessing security protocols. Stand by." Davies efficiently restrained O'Reilly and his remaining men, ensuring they posed no further threat. "Captain, what's our next move?" Nate's eyes hardened with resolve. "We hold this position and use everything we've learned to fend off the invaders." "Julia, any luck?" The barrier retracted with a loud clank, and Julia joined them, relief evident on her face. "We're back together. Now let's make sure it stays that way." Zoratha's voice took on a more urgent tone. "The hostile forces are advancing. Prepare for engagement." Nate quickly outlined their strategy. "We use the facility's defenses and the technology we've discovered." "Julia, can you activate the energy shields?" She nodded, already moving towards the central console. "I'll get it done, Captain." As Julia worked, the first wave of invaders breached the facility's outer defenses. Nate and Davies took their positions, ready to face the oncoming threat. O'Reilly, still restrained, watched with a mix of frustration and regret. "Nate, you have to understand. My faction believes this is the only way." Nate glanced at him, a flicker of sympathy in his eyes. "It's too late for that now, James. We have to deal with the immediate threat." The invaders, alien and formidable, poured into the facility. Their advanced weaponry and relentless advance made it clear they were a force to be reckoned with. Julia's voice broke through the commotion. "Energy shields are online." A shimmering barrier enveloped the central chamber, providing a crucial line of defense. Nate rallied his team. "We hold this position. Protect the core and Zorath at all costs. This is our stand." The invaders' assault intensified, but the team held their ground, using the ancient technology to their advantage. The facility's defenses, combined with their determination, created a formidable resistance. As the battle raged on, Zorath provided critical updates and guidance, its vast knowledge proving indispensable. The team fought with unwavering resolve, each moment bringing them closer to understanding the full scope of the threat they faced. The walls of the ancient facility shook as another explosion reverberated through the corridors. Nate quickly assessed the situation, his mind racing to formulate a strategy. The invaders were relentless, and their advanced weaponry was breaching their defenses faster than anticipated. "Davies, maintain your position." "Julia, any progress on the secondary shields?" Nate's voice cut through the chaos, authoritative and calm. Julia's fingers flew over the console. "Almost there, Captain. Just a few more seconds." Her determination was evident, sweat beading on her forehead as she worked. Nate turned to Zorath, the AI's holographic form steady amidst the turmoil. "Zorath, can we divert power from non-essential systems to reinforce the shields?" Zoratha's response was immediate. "Redirecting power now. Shields at 70% capacity and rising." The facility's defenses glowed brighter, the enhanced energy field holding back the onslaught. Nate allowed himself a moment of relief but knew the reprieve was temporary. "We need to find a way to turn the tide," he muttered to himself. O'Reilly, still restrained but now conscious of the imminent threat, called out. "Nate, listen to me. There's a weapon in the lower levels, a prototype the ancient civilization was developing. It's risky, but it could be our best chance." Nate hesitated, distrust still evident in his eyes. "Why should I believe you?" O'Reilly's expression was earnest. "Because I want to live through this just as much as you do. I made a mistake, but right now we need every advantage we can get." Julia glanced at Nate, her eyes pleading. "We have to try, Captain. We're running out of options." Nate nodded reluctantly. "All right, O'Reilly, you're coming with us. But one wrong move, and I won't hesitate." With a quick, decisive nod, Nate led the team towards the lower levels, Zorth guiding them through the labyrinthine corridors. The sound of distant gunfire and explosions grew fainter as they descended, replaced by an eerie silence. They reached a massive, reinforced door. O'Reilly approached the control panel, his hands steady as he entered a series of codes. The door groaned open, revealing a chamber filled with complex machinery and a central console. "This is it," O'Reilly said. "The weapon draws power from the facility's core. We need to activate it and aim it at the invaders' main force." Julia and Zorth immediately got to work, deciphering the ancient controls. "It's a particle disruptor," Julia explained. "Incredibly powerful, but it requires a precise targeting sequence." Nate kept his eyes on O'Reilly, ensuring his compliance. "Can we do it?" "We have to," Julia replied, her voice resolute. Minutes felt like hours as they worked, the pressure mounting with each passing second. Finally, Zorth's voice broke the tense silence. "Targeting sequence complete. Weapon ready for activation." Nate took a deep breath, his hand hovering over the activation switch. "This is it. Everyone, prepare for the worst." He pressed the switch, and the chamber thrummed with energy. The particle disruptor roared to life, its power building to a crescendo. The facility's lights dimmed as energy was diverted to the weapon. "Impact in 3, 2, 1. Zorth counted down. A beam of intense energy shot from the facility, piercing through the upper levels and striking the invaders' main force. The resulting explosion was blinding, the shockwave shaking the ground beneath them. When the dust settled, the invaders' offensive had been decimated. The team emerged from the lower levels, cautiously surveying the aftermath. The battlefield was littered with debris, the remnants of the invaders' once formidable presence. Nate turned to his team, pride swelling in his chest. "We did it. We held the line." Julia smiled, exhaustion and relief etched on her face. "But the fight isn't over. We need to report back to Thron Command and prepare for any future threats." O'Reilly, now unrestrained, approached Nate. "I know I can't undo what I've done, but I want to help. We're stronger together." Nate regarded him for a moment before nodding. "We'll see. Right now, we need every ally we can get." As they regrouped and began planning their return, Zorth's holographic form shimmered beside them. "The data we've collected here will be invaluable. Your courage and resourcefulness have secured a significant victory." Nate placed a hand on the console, feeling the weight of their accomplishment. "This is just the beginning. We've proven we can face whatever comes next." The team, now united by their shared struggle and newfound respect, prepared to transmit their findings to Thron Command. They knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but together, they were ready to face them. As the transmission began, Nate looked at his team, determination shining in his eyes. "Let's go home."